Hey folks, what do you say we get on the VFR, take it for a quick spin, see if we actually fix the thing. I'm not convinced, but we'll see. Alright, so let's do that right now. Alrighty folks, my intention was to give you live play-by-play audio. I tried a new voice recorder app and it didn't work right, although it seemed to capture the bike running pretty well. So I think we'll leave that in, but I'm going to have to do some voiceover in editing like I am doing right now. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you a cold start without the enricher, because I think I talked about that before. It's kind of a good indicator that you have the thing dialed in pretty well, at least in my opinion. So let me show you that right now. See what happens. Okay, sounds pretty good. I'm liking the way it started up without the enricher, and yeah, I think we're going to be good to go. So she's right into an idle already, and no problem.
The slow circuit working properly.
What he said. Yeah, so one of the big problems here was when it would break up, the tach would fluctuate, and it would almost drop out, which kind of gave me an idea or an indication that it might be ignition. Yeah, so at this point, I'm pleased with it. I don't have any flat spots. It's not breaking up at light throttle. But then again, we're just going around the neighborhood at low RPM, so kind of hard to tell. The objective here is we're going to get out of the neighborhood, go down the road, and get down onto the interstate so we can test it in the same exact parameters as what I experienced before. Alright, so what happened here was I forgot my wallet and I had to turn around from that first clip, so I didn't see any need to redo the clip. So what I'm doing here is I went down to the local gas station and just pulled over to start the video and the audio back up, which the audio of course didn't work well. We're going to head down to Interstate now and give her a shot. Again, so far I'm liking what I feel and what I see. Smooth, no flat spots, and she seems to be running A-OK. So we're into some very, very light throttle, but not at a very high RPM. It seemed when I had it out on September 11th that it was really doing it really bad coming home from that ride. Even as the time progressed, the RPMs would get lower where it would start to malfunction. So that's why I'm kind of starting in the lower RPM range, and then we'll get it up in the higher RPM range and see if it does it still. Unfortunately, there was some traffic as usual on the interstate, so right now I'm getting on from State Road 64 in Bradenton, Manatee County, heading southbound. I'm only going to go one exit down to the next exit, which is 217 for State Road 70, and we're going to try to get our diagnostics done between here and there. Okay, right now I'm bringing the RPMs up. We're at about, I'd say about 3,500, 4,000, 4,500. And I'm bringing it up gradually because it started around 4,500 and it would start to misfire around 5,500. And ultimately I drop a gear or two to get the thing in different spots to raise up an RPM. You'll see that here in a second. Right now I'm getting it up there. Not high RPM. Remember the red line's 11.5 on this, but 5,000 or 6,000 RPM where it was doing it, and there's no sign of it misfiring at all. It's smooth as silk. You can see the tachometer. The tachometer is not moving at all. It was jumping around like it was on fire the last time that it did it on that last ride. It was terrible. Whenever it would misfire, the tach would almost die and come back up. It would just flutter around. We're going to go ahead and drop a gear and then do a couple of wide open throttle runs. So she picked up real well, no problem. You know, due to traffic, I have to kind of back off and give me some room, then I do it a couple of times. Going up, or I should say down a gear to get the RPMs up a little bit more, and I'm only getting it into the area of RPMs that I was having the problem. Like right there. When I did that on the last ride, this thing would be just breaking up and just horrible to ride. Very, very light throttle right now. Absolutely solid. No misfires, no nothing. Getting off the exit, we're going to be going on some surface streets which are unfortunately clogged with traffic and with ridiculously low speed limits. So not a whole lot I can do in here, but pretty much we have done a prove out on the interstate, duplicating the exact same circumstances as we had before on the last ride, and it did not misfire, did not misbehave at all. Yeah, so she's running real well. I'm real happy with her right now. I wish we could get a little bit more hooligan going on, but unfortunately, yeah, Popo's out in force, especially where I'm about to go, which is the construction zone. It's nice just to tool around at light throttle and not have the thing misfire, and it was a real annoying thing, and I was getting kind of worried that a lean condition at those RPMs might cause a harmful condition in the engine, but like I said, I'm pretty sure we've solved it. again, even though we're on a surface street, it was doing it at this RPM and this speed before. So again, what I'm duplicating is the exact same circumstances, and we do not have any misfire. I'm sorry you hear me jabber-jawing in the main video there, but unfortunately it's going to be very difficult to try to get that out because it's mixed in with the track that I'm using for the audio of the bike itself. Now we're heading back into the neighborhood, so we have to play nice. This thing is not the quietest thing, especially when you get it up into anything over about 4,000 RPM with that super tramp exhaust. So yeah, we're just going to get her home and then we'll close this out. But I'm real happy with it. She sounds good and feels good. And I'll tell you what, folks, she pulls like a freight train up on the interstate there. It was unfortunate that I was in the, I guess you want to call it the wash of a truck. And that truck was just beating me to death as I was hammering it. I wish I had an open area where I could really crank the thing up and show you, but unfortunately around here, there ain't none of that. 24/7, that interstate is packed. Alright, turning into the homestead. We'll close her out here. So, I would say mission accomplished. Well, I'm going to call this fixed at this point. The only thing I don't like about it right now is that the idle is hanging up a little bit when you snap the throttle. Not a quick snap, but a normal boom, throttle. It's good sound effects, huh? She wants to hang up 100 RPM, 150 RPM higher and then come back down. Now there's a couple, that's exclusively in the adjustment of the slow screws. I'm guessing, and my gut feeling is telling me that it actually might be a little rich. A lot of times it's because you have screws are set too lean. It'll kind of raise up at idle like that after snapping. I think it's the other way around because I have bigger slow jets in. So when you hit the throttle, you open up the throttle butterflies and you have action on the slides. So you have the mains really taken over and you're getting a good amount of fuel bolus in there, for lack of a better term. You close the throttle real quick, there's still some residual fuel in there, plus now you're switching back over to the slow jets. And so it kind of wants to hang up and then come back down. I think it's a little on the rich side. Not 100% sure though, so I'm not going to worry about it right now, because I'm going to go ahead and just take the side covers off at a later time, another day, another time, and I'll fiddle with the slow screws and see if we can clean that up. If not, it's just a byproduct of the fact that I have it jetted a little bigger on the slow side, and I'm going to live with it. I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, I think it runs pretty damn well. I'm real happy with it right now as far as the correction to that, breaking up at the low throttle positions, higher RPM, right? There he goes. As usual. So what's the cause? As I said in the other video, I don't know, I don't care. I just wanted it fixed. If I was to put any blame, I would go to the carbs. But the way that tachometer, and I wish I could have videoed it at the time, when it was doing it on that ride, the tachometer was almost like dropping out. Dropping out. Now the wire that feeds the tachometer is a yellow with a red. It's the same one that goes to the fuel cut relay. And so it's getting an impulse that the engine is running from the ECU. I haven't changed the ECU, and I haven't changed the pulse, or I should say the fuel cut relay. Jeez, I can't think now. But I did change the coils. And so maybe it wasn't receiving a good impulse from a coil. I don't know. Sometimes these bikes only read off of 1 or 2 coils to determine, engine RPM.
The Magna's original setup was like that, and even the aftermarket one with the programmable USB spark boxes is that way. Only one of the two spark boxes sends a signal up to the tach, which it interprets as an RPM reading in an analog state, okay? So I don't know what it does on the VFR, but if it's similar to that, maybe we did have a bad coil that was given inappropriate feedback, especially after it got hot. Remember, it only did it when it was hot. Who cares? It's fixed. That fixes this video. If you like what you saw, subscribe, like, share, do the whole thing. You know what to do. Don't just repair, restore. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.